What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode with Scott Runs and Stuff. I know it's been a little while since I've made a last video, so without too much further ado, let's hop right into it. Alright, everybody, welcome back to the channel if you've been watching for a while, or welcome to the channel if you're new. If you've seen the last couple of videos, you'll notice that I've been dealing with my ankle injury for the past couple weeks, and apologies for not making a video last week. Frankly, I was pretty unmotivated and not necessarily inspired to make a video, but we've got 2 weeks left until my 100-mile race, so up until from here on to then, I'm trying my best to stay positive. So the last video I left off with was not yet having gone to see the doctor, and between then and now I have. So overall, I guess it was good news from the doctor's appointment. My initial thought was that potentially I had developed some stress fractures or tendonitis. Again, like I said, if you've been watching a while, you know kind of what the issue is, but to summarize quickly, my ankles, both of them, have been really hurting lately. As you can see, I'm out just on another walk, hike in Umstead Park, if you will. So the thought I had going into the appointment was, oh no, stress fracture or tendonitis or something major, but it was deemed actually that the overall issue was lack of intrinsic foot strength, combined with a like glute and right hip instability, which ultimately was causing more of a stress on my ankles because my posterior chain was not necessarily as equal and even as it could be. So yes, while, like, you know, the saying goes, no news is good news, or no bad news is even better news, but it was kind of confusing to me because, like, there's no clear actual injury per se. It's more of just like something's not working, something's causing something else, and it's kind of just like overall a dull aching pain that's not anything acute or easily identifiable. There's also like no clear indication of what caused it, as apart, like I said, from an imbalance of strength, which, I mean, my thoughts about the whole situation is like, well, if I've always had this imbalance of strength, then why have I not ever developed this pain or issue before up until now? And I mean, ultimately, perhaps it's been just because my mileage has been increasing, or when it was at least, not having the strength of my hips and feet as balanced and even as possible, that I just wasn't used to that volume, and the imbalance and inconsistencies were just over exemplified in what my typical training load was used to. These past 3 weeks, I actually have not run in over 3 weeks. Again, as you can see, I'm out here just on this hike in Umstead Park, trying to keep it a brisk, fast walking pace, which lately hasn't been hurting my ankles. So I've been just maintaining that effort. Well, I know last video I spoke about my other activity of choice is rock climbing, and I had mentioned that I was considering reactivating my membership, which now I have done actually. So I've been starting to get back climbing. It's kind of funny, my climbing endurance has definitely not been as it was before stopping my membership, and it's definitely noticeable up on the wall where just power endurance is extremely lacking. But I'm still trying to stay active, trying to train. I've been going to the gym and lifting a lot more frequently lately, but I've also, main thing, as I've been doing a lot of Bosu ball exercises. If you're not familiar, a Bosu ball is basically just picture like an exercise ball, and only half of it, where one side is the ball and one side is like a flat part that you could flip it upside down and do exercises on. So I've been doing a lot of those. I'll actually drop in some footage of like 4 or 5 exercises that I've been working on. Again, focusing on single leg exercises, combining both ankle mobility and stability. I think my ankles are pretty strong just because I've been running, you know, hundreds and hundreds of miles on trails. But the Bosu ball exercises do target not only the ankle and feet, but also the hips and your knees too. So I'll drop that footage in now and kind of give a little brief description of each one, and maybe if you'd like, you can start considering that if you're curious on how to do some stability, mobility, ankle exercises for your own running benefits. So I'll check back in a few minutes after the footage has been discussed, and I'll see you then. All right, what's up everybody? So I'm not exactly sure what to call all of these, but this first exercise, I'm basically standing on the Bosu ball with one leg, and I'm passing a kettlebell being held from a resistance band back and forth around my body. The object again here is just to keep the hips stable and balanced as much as possible. This next exercise is really good for downhill running, so I put a small resistance band around both knees. I'm holding a kettlebell in my hands, and I'm going back and forth quickly, up and down on the Bosu ball. You can notice my hips and back are as straight and flat as possible. Okay, so this next exercise is not done on a Bosu ball, but still activates the ankle stability muscles used for trail running. I do a deep runner's lunge onto an elevated surface, such as a plate you'll find in standard gyms like this, and do 10 to 20 calf raises on the plate. You can do these with or without weights for 2 to 4 sets. This next exercise also has to do with lunging, so I'm lunging on, standing up, and then doing a lunge off of the Bosu ball. I'll do 4 to 5 lunges each leg, and then 1 to 2 times per set. So this one's kind of tricky. I'm using, again, single leg Bosu ball, and I'm using a resistance band tied onto one knee to help stabilize, and I'm lifting the other leg up and over, tapping my foot each time to the front and the back of the Bosu ball. This next exercise is pretty similar to the last one. However, I'm not using a band around my knee, and I'm not going up and over, but I'm using kind of like a back flag technique. This exercise, I'll do 5 sets per leg, and I'll do each side 1 to 2 times. Okay, so this last exercise is probably the most difficult. I'm doing a deep lunge with the front leg on a balance board and the back leg on the Bosu ball. Typically, I'll do 30 seconds each leg for both legs. This one definitely helps with balance. If you're struggling with balance, you could try doing this just with the front leg or with the back leg, and then try and combine the two, front and back. All right, so again, that's kind of like what I've been doing the past couple days, trying to at least incorporate one of those exercises almost daily. I haven't been diligent enough to do it every single day, but for most days I try and do something like that. If you have any questions or would like any more details about them or information and stuff, I might do a separate video. Just let me know in the comments if you want to see something more specific or in exercises. But right now actually is what I've been looking forward to the most actually in this video is I'm gonna start trying to run. So again, as mentioned, I'm out in Umstead Park just doing the tried and true Company Mill loop, probably my favorite loop in the park. And so right now we just crossed over the bridle trail, and now we're working on the downhill section. And again, it's been almost 3 weeks since I've really done any running, so we'll see how this goes. Nothing too crazy, just light, easy, slow. Again, this is the downhill section of the trail, so I'm trying not to like overexert anything on the uphill portions yet. Just see how it feels, feeling it out, and hopefully not too much pain becomes of it. I'm gonna get to it. Again, I've been out of it for a little while, so I'm gonna try and focus and not like roll an ankle or trip and fall on anything over here. I'll check in a few minutes and let you know how the little run feels. Alright, about 2 minutes in so far of the run. So far so good. So the first thing I've noticed is my heart rate is pretty high. The pace is super relaxed, super easy, but my heart rate is just a little bit higher than what it would typically be at if I was in peak conditions. But I will also say the weather has been really, really nice the last few days here. Finally, it's been cooling off. So I take it slow on this section here. It's kind of steep. The summer this year was just unbelievably brutal. I read or heard on the radio somewhere that this was the third hottest summer in the last 10 or 12 years, which makes complete sense because there were so many days, upper 90s, heat indexes of like 105 plus. Right now it's about in the low 60s, I think. So definitely helps in that aspect that this little test run demo and my race in 2 weeks will definitely be cooler than what I've been training in for most of the summer months. Alrighty, so that was about five or 6 minutes of a run. I went, I think, about half a mile, maybe a little more than half a mile. Again, mostly downhill. I've just come to this uphill section by the backside of the Company Mill Trail, so switch back to a hike. Great news. I haven't really felt any pain or discomfort yet. The run that I did last, which was supposed to be like, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles, I made it only about a half mile in before my ankles were really, really starting to hurt. And by the 1 mile mark of that run, again, three plus weeks ago, I had to stop. Had to sit on a log, was in so much pain, and then had to walk the mile back to the car in a considerable amount of pain. So right now I'm like 3.5 miles into the Company Mill Loop with having run a little bit here and there, and then the last 5 minutes. So no pain so far. I've been averaging about 13-14 minute mile pace. If I can, as 100-mile mantras go, if I can just keep moving, again, the motto is relentless forward motion. So if I can just maintain a consistent 15 to 18 minute pace for at least a lot of the first several miles, I should be able to make it. So we'll see. All right, so I actually have some additional good news. So on my little run downhill, on this part of Company Mill, I ran into a friend, Chuck from RTR, from Raleigh Trail Runners. I was actually joining with RTR this morning. Yeah, so I was with RTR this morning, but they of course all went off running and I started hiking. And Chuck is a part of RTR, and so I just saw him on the run downhill and kind of explained to him what was going on. But again, if you remember, I think from 2 videos ago, my ankles hurt the most when I was stopping and releasing my feet from the ground. And in the few minutes that I was stopped talking to him, after running for a few minutes, I felt no pain. And then because I was still downhill, after speaking with him, I started up again running downhill, and again, no pain. So here I am, just kind of on the flat part by the lake, doing pretty good. Like I said though, my legs are a little tired because I haven't really run in almost a month. Whoa, see what I mean? I'm getting distracted, almost gonna fall. So I'm gonna put this thing away and focus on not hurting myself. And I'll check back in maybe at the end. Alright, so I just finished the run. Ended up running the entire last mile uphill, which actually felt pretty good. I went 6 total miles and an average pace of 12 minutes and 40 seconds. My ankles don't at all feel yet back to 100%, but it feels so much better than the last time I tried running, which is awesome. I'm gonna see how it feels in the morning and the rest of the day today. Hopefully there's no residual pain or fatigue, or I guess there's definitely gonna be fatigue. My legs are pretty tired. My heart rate was very high compared to how it was before. But anyway, so I might check in later today or tomorrow just to let you know how the run feels after some hours of rest. So hoping to continue walking, hiking, running a little bit between now and the race, but for right now I guess things are getting better, which is good. So I'll see you next week, or maybe sometime tomorrow. Have a good one.